case we've seen in Libya, because these people are left out with any power, still the government is holding them to their faces, and these incapable people need dire help and urgent help in order to stop any ordeals that are happening currently in their nation. So recognize international society recognition of the parties with consensus, with neutrality of the international society should come into the nation and help the nation to change into a better place so that these economically and militarily weak people can get the support and change the day one way. International government working to reach democratic society is also another message that we are trying to send by third-party intervention. International societies wish them to change into a better world which is related to the democratization, so that these can send further message to other governments, to other dictators, that there is no room for dictatorship, there is no room for tyranny, there is no room for human violation, there is no room for arms race and illegal arms trafficking in the international society. So that these, which are also said by Patrick with the Geneva Convention issue, that these things were actually, these illegal measures actually were done by Syrian leader Al-Assad. And let's go to the second part, which is about why trial by ICC and what can ICC do in this kind of occasional agreement. As Patrick mentioned, not only is it a legitimized with authority and duty given to this organization, but also to be established later by allowing people to re-establish their own government by taking out this dictator legitimate. They are whining about how this ICC process will take so long and these people, this ICC is actually politically influenced and so on. However, if that is the case, if that is the point they are trying to make, then it's not them talking about leaving ICC alone and making ICC not do anything, but actually change ICC so that they can actually bring the further changes, and that's the point. And also, then how ICC will actually bring the changes. Trying dictatorship, like Patrick mentioned, is also another way of trying the country suffer its bad deeds. Because the dictator is actually a representation of the nation, which are not doing its job, but which will its ill-will power. In these cases, then ICC certainly has justification to overrun the sovereignty and go in there and actually try to try the dictator nation. And also, again, this grassroots effect will be later made by people who are actually willing to engage in bringing changes to the nation. And there's the third flag, which is the benefit and harm. In here, there are many different levels: long-term, short-term, domestic, and also international. First of all, the long-term one, let's talk about. The transition of power. The transition of just 1 second more. Transition of power of the government by a means of legal methods for recognition of the global society. And before I go into the analysis.
So tell me, after you remove the dictator from Syria, who is the person to take care of the people's life?
According to how they said it, because first there should be no one to take care of it because there's cultural difference. However, from the government side, how we believe in the case is that if these people do not have capability, do not have necessary knowledge, in order to re-establish their own government with their own hands, there could be some other parties coming in to help these kind of people. Because once we started with the justification of overrunning sovereignty and to going to take a court trial of the dictator, then we should also finish the job to the end. That is what justification we have. And in these cases, we have various international organizations who could actually support this convention so that these people can live in peace later on. So again, back to the long-term transitional power that are guaranteed and that are protected by international organizations within neutrality and with the sovereignty remain intact now. Yes, sir.
Then tell us how ICC current system will solve the problem by serving the justice and bringing the consequences. Al-Assad.
I don't understand that, sorry. Whatever. Maybe we'll hear through my speech. So secondly, to the short-term impact, elimination of dictator and bring people from dictatorship and tyranny under they are living in. So that's another short-term and also domestic impact that we are trying to bring. And then there's another thing, which is sending a message to global society, which in all governments have agreed to do so. So sending this message to the other tyrannies, so they will be deterred from actions, or they will be rather be forced or threatened by such actions. And then we are also showing that international society is not ignoring, being not indifferent to such problems, and the international society will move to act upon such later. So in the end, overall, the opposition side is just whining that ICC is not an efficient tool and ICC is too slow, they haven't done anything. However, as the government side, we believe this is about time Let's come to
First of all, let's figure out there's actually a huge difference between international intervention and international support or aid. Because I think there's a total misunderstanding about the concept of international intervention versus international support and aid. Because look at the case in Libya. Because we firmly believe that as a close opposition, we think the aid that is from NATO, from America, is actually international aid and support. Which means that we just send some troops there, but who's gonna be the dominant group is the rebellion group in Libya themselves. So we think actually there's no contradiction figured out by the weight of the government. And also the second criteria should consider is about whether those interests is for those helper or not. Because we can see that for these cases in Libya, actually the sending of the troops, sending of the missiles is actually for the interest of the rebellious group in Libya. It's not for the interest of NATO or for the interest of the USA. So we think that we should figure out the differences here, and we think actually no contradiction is as in a closing opposition side. And also, we should mention something about, we should also, like Alex told you, another kind of international aid or international support can be the economic sanctions now happened towards Syria. You can see from the fact that nowadays USA just raised the asset of the leadership, either in the USA territory or with the USA jurisdiction. And also, in 2011, on May 23rd, the EU foreign ministers agreed that they should remove this dictator from the tour list and also do some asset frozen towards this leadership. And also we can see figure out by Alex those time. We can figure out by Alex that nowadays the Arab League was also put some pressures to this dictatorship. Because we think in this way, with the international support, with the international aid, which will just cut the most important power, economic power of this leadership. We think that is the best way, and also at the same time, we're going to combine the domestic group people's power this time. And now let's just move on to today's clash. Actually, I think there's two main clashes. First, from time. First is about from the principle level, whether we think the sovereignty is actually can be a principle time. The sovereignty can be a solid principle to support their case. And second is about effectiveness to solve the problem. And as the closing opposition side, we consider more about the aftermath of this removal. We consider more about people's life. Now let's move back to the first clashes. Because we think, yes, it sounds quite reasonable from Prime Minister say the sovereignty is not absolute principle and it should conform to some higher set of moral principle in the so-called humanitarian intervention. And also it gives some successful cases like say maybe 2009 overthrow of the Taliban regime, and also the remove of the Serbia forces in 1990. So we think, but this case sounds convincing, but we still need to figure out and point out what's the difference between the removal or between the humanitarian intervention with these cases and cases in Syria. Because what they're going to do is just use ICC to trial this dictator, just remove one symbol from this country. Sorry, no time. As Alice will give you analysis about the 40 years dictatorship cannot easily be collapsed during one night. Sorry, no time. Just cannot be attacked or combat within just removal from this symbol from a person. Because we should look at how this 40 years establishment of the dictator. We think there's so many parties and so many people actually support the policies of those dictatorships, and also we think that is the difference. Because for those cases in Taliban, Kosovo, they actually remove the collective group and save people's life in this way. But domestic development and economic development, because all her argument is based on one assumption that if we just remove the dictator, actually everything will be better, and we can have an immediate change of those governments during those time. And second, our second class want to talk about is the effectiveness of ICC, because the whole banks mainly talk about, yes, there's some legislation for ICC to do that, and also, but as the opening opposition, they only give some examples to you say that the failure of ICC. And Alex told you, actually the root problem, the root drawback of the ICC is about, first of all, the mechanism, and second, there's a membership, and also we think the trial is slow and also time-consuming during this time. We cannot solve the problem immediately. We cannot just save people's life immediately during this time. And second, we want to talk about is actually waiting we uphold organic change, which initiated by the domestic power, domestic people in Syria. Why this is the reason? Because we think as the opposing opposition, we doubt the remaining power after you remove those people during this time. As I also elaborate in my rebuttal that those 40 years dictatorship cannot be destroyed, cannot be collapsed within one night. And also, we think that there's still, during this time, we can still say the security forces and a lot of like the important parliamentary power have already controlled by this dictator. You just remove those symbols. So how those people's life can be ensured just through those removal. And also, as Alex told you, we think we should consider more about aftermath of those removal. Because we think why the Syria government, they are the right person to decide which kind of government, which kind of regime they want, because they have better understanding of their culture, better understanding of their